Hi, everyone. I want to talk today about a particular section in the new IDI Motivation and Career Report that I feel can be really useful, whether or not you are the person who is in the midst of a career transition or whether or not you are the individual who is helping somebody navigate a career transition. And that is the motivational interaction section in this new report. I think a lot of insight can be gleaned from looking at our motivations in combination. Before I get into just a couple of examples to sort of bring this to life, there are two really important things to remember. The first is that motivation in combination can create situations where a person really feels reinforced by their motivational combinations. They also can get into situations where their motivational combinations can create situations where they feel some tension. So again, I want to give two examples here today to describe this. The first will be a combination where it's reinforcing for an individual. What I want to talk about here is if a person is high giving and low enduring. And just so you know, in the report, if you have a high giving and a low enduring score, what will come out is you enjoy the opportunity to try and help others grow, but after you've given the initial push, you expect them to handle things on your own, right? So again, high giving, motivation to help and support other people. And with low enduring would be a lack of motivation to be really persistent, to be really strong-willed, and instead you're more likely to be a little bit more easygoing, maybe get distracted a little bit easier, and maybe prefer the beginnings of things versus the endings of things. So what does this look like for an individual? Well, let's just take an individual who potentially is thinking about getting into an HR job, right? Well, this individual with that combination, first of all, those motivations will reinforce one another in a way where they really like to help people, really motivated to help other individuals, and they will probably go out of their way to ensure that relationships are in a good place. They will avoid conflict probably to a degree, or conflict will not feel great for them. So if they are getting into an HR role, potentially, that motivation to really help other people, support other people, make their jobs better will be one that is very helpful. At the same time, anybody who has been in an HR role in a large organization knows that these roles can be really difficult, especially if you're in an organization that potentially is really bureaucratic or doesn't really accept the way that HR is trying to implement things. So this combination of high giving, low enduring, while really helpful in terms of building relationships and really being motivated and energized by helping the people inside of an organization, when it comes to implementing some of the things that potentially you want to do as an HR individual and needing a lot of persistence and a lot of stamina and a lot of willpower to convince people that this will be a good thing, well, this motivational makeup might be a little bit of one that somebody will need to overcome, or at least to recognize that there are going to be elements of this job where you're going to feel really tired and you're going to want to back away from all of the work that you're trying to put in to convince people that this is something that will be beneficial for the organization. All right, let's go for another example where you have a combination of motivations that really conflict with one another, create a lot of tension for the individual. And let's go with high receiving and low independence. Receiving on the high side, we're going to do high receiving, high independence. Receiving on the high side is really feeling motivated to, be around others who are supportive of you, who like you, and really feeling motivated to be able to ask other people for help if and when you need it. High independence, on the other hand, is somebody who is really motivated by freedom, right, and doing things on their own, and not relying on the help of other people. So if, again, if you have a high receiving and a high independence score, what this report will shoot out to you is, for you, the ideal situation is feeling that others like and accept you and will be supportive when you need them, yet will allow you to remain free and unencumbered, right? So even in that description, you can start to think about how, okay, there's going to be those things are really at odds with one another, right? So let's take the example of a person who is considering joining an organization and a team that is really close knit, right? Well, in one circumstance, this is going to feel great for this person, right? They're going to feel really motivated to be a part of this team because the team's really supportive and collaborative, really helps. They probably all like each other to a degree, and are willing to help each other out. At the same time, when you join a group, you lose a degree of autonomy in a way. And for a person with a high independence motivation, that can be a little bit of a struggle, right? So if a person has this combination, I think what can be really helpful if they are joining a group that would be, really close knit and really collaborative, they can understand that there's going to be elements of this that they really enjoy, but also parts of it that are going to be that are going to test them to a motivational and an energy degree where they're going to feel at points like they've just had enough, right? And they want to back away a little bit from it. So I hope those two examples provide a little bit of clarity on how motivational interactions can be really, really helpful in terms of digging a little bit deeper in the interpretation space for the IDI, but also digging a little deeper in terms of how it plays in a person's career transition. If you have any questions about what I've said here or any thoughts, please either comment on the blog post or reach out to MRG Client Services, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks.